The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro is one of the best cameras you can invest your money in today. I owned the camera since it came out on the Italian market, and so far I've learned some of the good tips to maximize its use, which I will share with you in this video today. So you're still struggling to figure out which codec to use, or if you're new to the Blackmagic gang, stay tuned because this is not as complicated as it sounds. If you're new here, welcome. In any case, grab your popcorn, subscribe if you haven't, and hit that bell. My name is Ruben and I love music, filming, learning, and living happier day to day. So you picked up the Pocket 6K Pro and you're probably wondering what recording settings and compression should I use? I have to say that at first all this was very confusing and I saw it as highly complicated. Then I learned that it's actually very straightforward. You need to remember that the possibility of recording in 6K RAW up to 50 frames per second and 4K ProRes is amazing. This was one of the features that attracted me the most to this camera, apart from the built-in and the filters. Now, even though I recommend shooting Blackmagic RAW because number one, very easy to handle it by Resolve, number two, you can tweak white balance and ISOs in Resolve without affecting image quality, and number three, you can change color space and gamma in Resolve without impacting image quality. You have a choice. You can choose whichever recording settings and compressions you want, whatever works for you. The end. Thank you. No. But as I promised, let's begin with the right part of the screen where you find ProRes with the different compressions you can use. And let's discover when to use them. Here we have different options. You can use 4K DCI, which is 4096 by 2160. You can use Ultra HD, which is 3840 by 2160, and you can use HD, which is 1920 by 1080, and use PXY, LT, 422, and HQ. One of the things I've discovered is that it's not 100% necessary always to shoot in RAW. Sometimes it may be better to shoot in ProRes and leave the RAW for those big projects. Working with an iMac with a 5K display, I've discovered that between 6K RAW 8:1 and 4K ProRes 4:2, the image's sharpness and general noise may be sometimes more desirable in ProRes. And so ProRes 4:2 and HQ are excellent alternatives. Now you need to know here that in the menu under Blackmagic RAW, you will see two options. Blackmagic RAW has two separate encoding settings: constant bitrate and constant quality. Constant bitrate has fantastic options if you have limited media space and need to shoot a lot. You have four different ratio options. You can use 12:1, 8:1, 5:1, and 3:1. In the beginning, as I said in other videos, I only use ProRes LT, as it was the smallest file. Later I discovered BRAW and all its advantages. One of the first advantages I saw was that in 6K BRAW the image wasn't cropped as when using 4K ProRes. So I began to use 12:1 compression, which is the smallest file in BRAW. However, later I found that 5:1, which apart from being an industry standard on large feature movies when shooting RAW, it's a middle way of compression without losing noticeable quality. You can check by yourself and see that you won't be able to detect any difference between 3:1 and 5:1, for example. Nevertheless, these different codecs will impact some of the quality of your footage. For example, images with high motion and where many elements are moving are likely to be affected. You need to keep this in mind if you're planning to shoot a feature film or something that requires lots of details and extremely high quality. The new constant quality options preserve image quality by completely removing the upper data limit. Complex frames will be encoded at higher data rates to preserve detail and maintain quality. Blackmagic RAW Q0 has minimum quantization and produces the highest possible quality. while Blackmagic Raw Q5 uses moderate quantization for more efficient encoding and smaller file size. More information will be registered in your footage. The disadvantage is that these files will vary in size, be much more extensive, and be very unpredictable regarding file size. Of course, these changes in image quality here are very minimal. So as I said at the beginning, if you're new to the Blackmagic gang, put constant quality on standby for a while. Shooting in 4K ProRes will be a good option. While you're there, try 4K ProRes 422. Shoot and repeat and study and see the results. Then later, try 6KB RAW and see if you can notice any difference between the codecs discussed in this video regarding image quality. One more thing to keep in mind is that with ProRes, you can work directly in Final Cut Pro. Suppose you only work with Final Cut Pro when you use Blackmagic RAW. In that case, you will have to convert your footage from B-RAW into ProRes using DaVinci Resolve, which is actually very intuitive and has tons of super duper awesome features I may be talking about in the future. It actually got better with the new update, did you know? Remember to live happier, eat healthier, stay fit, and never stop learning. See you in the next one. Thank you so much.